Hope all of you enjoyed the wonderful show tonight. We have a quick Q&A with our performers here, where we have the opportunity to talk to them a little bit about their creative journey, and then we open it up to the audience so you can ask them questions as well. And that's
Could you introduce yourself as the director of our festival, please? Thank you.
I'm Deepshika. I am the dance director for this year, and I am also a faculty member for theater at Hunter College. So I come from a theater world, and I always love the creative journey that each of our performers have and the innovation that they bring in their work. Trina joining us? We'll have every one of us over here introduce ourselves.
Sure. I'm Chitra Kalyandre. I'm with Kalanidhi Dance.
I'm Anuradha Nehru. I'm the artistic director of Kalanidhi Dance.
I'm Ashwini Ramaswamy. I'm with Ragamala Dance Company.
I'm Veeraja. I'm from Kalakshatra. I'm alumni.
I'm Shamjit Kiran. I'm from also Kalakshatra.
My name is Parul, and I'm the artistic director of the Parulsha Dance Company.
My name is Trina Basu, and I'm the violinist with Parul's Dance.
Thank you, all of you. So let's start with Veeraja and Shyamji, then how your journey in Bharatanatyam and your specific genre began.
So for both of us, the journey of Bharatanatyam began with actually our mothers. They're the ones who wanted us to pursue it as a profession. So that's how both of us got into Bharatanatyam, and that is what brought us to Kalakshatra.
Mine is also a family story. My mother and sister are the artistic directors of our dance company, Ragamala. I'm now the artistic associate as well as the director of marketing and publicity, and we're in our 25th year this year, so I've been doing this since a very young age.
I started as a young girl in dance because my mother couldn't. She always wanted to be a dancer but was not allowed to, and so when I was born she sent me to dance. And fortunately for her and for myself, I took to dance and have been dancing since a young age.
I too started learning Kuchipudi when I was quite young in Maryland. In '94, I joined another auntie with her school. Kuchipudi Kalanidhi was called then, and then have been with the school, which then we started a company in 2005. I was one of the founding dancers for that, so I've been with the company and the organization since. Yeah.
I was originally trained in Western classical music, growing up on the violin, and when I was in college is when I started to explore and study Indian classical music and other styles of music. I was fortunate to go to India, to South India, and study Carnatic violin for 6 months, and that opened a whole new world for me in music. So since then, I've been playing with different types of dance, and Indian contemporary dance and classical.
I started at a very young age in the States, and then after high school I started studying with Padma Bhushan Kumudri Lakhya, And I still train with her whenever I can, and we also get her to come here and teach. And I started my own dance company, it was like about 10 years ago.
So I'd love to know a little bit about how you've used, each of you have used your traditional vocabulary in your specific genre, and then how your collaboration and how you innovated on that for these particular pieces we saw. We also have a fabulous outdoor festival tomorrow where some of you will be performing, and maybe you've taken some of the more, the same vocabulary and used it in those pieces. So I'd love you to shed some light on that.
Okay. Should I talk about our collaboration? Yeah? Okay. So this piece originated with, actually, Trina has a collective called Brooklyn Raga Massive, and there are many musicians that come together and perform in various spaces. So they were doing this, they had a residency at Pioneer Works in Brooklyn. So I don't know if it was Trina, but one of the members asked me to do a collaboration with some of the members of Brooklyn Raga Massive, and the intent was to create a pure Kathak piece with live music. But I've been doing Kathak and contemporary work for a really long time, and I just feel when I'm trying to be expressive, it always kind of falls outside of the boundaries of Kathak. And so this is what kind of evolved. And this piece is interesting in its vocabulary because it does have Kathak in it, pure Kathak material in it, and that it also has very many contemporary elements to it that are blended together.
Do you see this piece continue to evolve, and do you see this being performed in this combination again with the same musicians?
Oh, absolutely. This piece really is close to my heart. I really feel for the subject matter. It might grow, it might not. I'm not sure, but I really enjoy doing this piece. I've enjoyed working on this piece. It's been a bit of a struggle, but it's very dear to my heart, and I feel like it's a subject matter that needs awareness. I think it needs to be talked about and seen in different lights, in music and in dance and in literature.
The opera that you saw, the excerpt of the opera collaboration that Kalanidhi was involved with in 2012 is what we presented today. And it was the first time that I had been asked to choreograph Kuchipudi to opera music. At first it was, my reaction was, I'm not sure if it would work. But fortunately, the artistic director of Opera Lafayette, with whom we ended up collaborating with, persisted, and I decided to go for it and discovered opera music in the process and began to truly appreciate and enjoy it. So I think collaborations in many ways, they might take you out of your comfort zone, but I think you grow as an artist as a result of collaborations. And the other interesting process for us in collaborating with the opera music was, this music was never recorded. It was performed in the 19th century. And so when I had to choreograph to it, Ryan Drum, who was the artistic director, had to give me some score because I didn't read Western music. And so he got a pianist to just record the score. So based on that piano track, we had to develop the dance. And it was quite unnerving that I think 3 days before the performance, we rehearsed with a 47-member orchestra to present it. So it was a really interesting experience for us, and we've gone on to collaborate with him on a second project in 2014 and are now in the process of collaborating with him with the third. which will be staged in 2018. And the difference in the 2018 is there are going to be no operatic singers. It's just going to be his orchestra playing to as our Kuchipudi dance company. It's a dance ballet, opera ballet.
So as was mentioned in the introduction, Nocturne, this was an excerpt from my first evening length work as a choreographer. And as someone who was born in the United States, but traveled to India every year and has spent a lot of my childhood and adulthood in India, there is an amalgamation of the two worlds that I wanted to capture, and I felt that that would be best if there was no vocals. And as an English major, I'm really interested in all types of literature, so I did draw from various texts so that the movement would be kind of this abstraction of Bharatanatyam, still very true to our movement and to our style and to our guru, Srimati Aramalvalli, but with my own perspective as this person who loves literature and who wants to express myself but maintain the integrity of the form, which we make sure to do in our company and our style. And we believe that the style itself has infinite capacity for showing emotion and telling stories, so you just have to find kind of the right marriage of artist and music and literature and other influences, I think, to make that come to life on stage.
Would you like to talk? It's very hard to make him talk. So he's a choreographer, but I would like to say a few things. So this particular piece, Rekha, which means lines, was first performed in Singapore in November 2012. It was a part of a solo production by one of our dancer friends. Shama had done the choreography at that point in time for her as a solo. And then we kind of really liked the idea of just focusing on the line and the geometry involved in Bharatanatyam, because that is a very, I think, important part of our style. So our challenge was to find sahityam or lyric that would complement our piece, and that's when we researched the Kala Rudra Upanishad. We found about the mention about all the 3 lines of the sacred mark on Lord Shiva's forehead, and how each line had its own philosophical meaning, and each line meant different things. So one of the most important things is that the coming together of Om. The first line symbolizes and then U and then Ma. So that is what we try to show through our dance, and we also try to show lines and different angles that we could incorporate. So that is what we basically try to do with our piece.
We'll open it up to the audience for any questions they might have about the pieces they saw or any other work that these fabulous companies do.
The last piece, again, who wants your name? Pearl. What kind of contemporary dance do you incorporate with the traditional Indian dance?
I'm not trained in any form of contemporary dance. The only training I have is in Kathak. I see a lot of dance, and clearly I'm influenced by many forms, but my training is solely in Kathak, and when I was younger I had made this clear decision not to study a contemporary dance form or Western dance form, because I wanted to create a language that is rooted in Kathak, and not only rooted in Kathak, but taking Kathak to present day life, to be able to express stories that are told today in a language that is from 1550 BC. But I didn't want to take different forms and bring them together. I wanted the voice to be of Kathak. Thank you.
Any other questions?
So mine has to be a comment. Firstly, as a dance appreciator, I've come to every single one of these 10 years. And I have to say that there hasn't been a single moment tonight that was disappointing. Every single piece, every single performer was so deeply emotional and passionate in what they did. So I'm very curious to hear whether there were moments of pain and conflict in putting together this, whether it was to try to restrict it to time or whether it was trying to put it together with or without all of your ensemble, or what it is that was sort of challenging for today. Because it didn't show, but that's another side to it.
We definitely had a little bit of a costume snafu right before, so that was a little bit of a challenge. We had to scramble and improvise. But I think all of us who have danced with groups and ensembles know that both the joy of working with a group and the challenges that come with getting everybody on the same page and understanding movement and understanding each other and space between each other and breathing at the same time and thinking at the same time. That, I would say, is a challenge going through the process, and hopefully what came out of it was enjoyable to all of you. But I don't know if anybody else has any.
For me, it's probably hard to believe because I'm a full-grown adult and I'm married, but this is the first time I've come and done a performance without either my mother or sister with me, even if it's a solo. So that was a challenge, and but also it was good. It was good for me to come and do this by myself, and we were texting all the time, but I had a good time. So it ended up being a challenge with a happy ending, I guess.
And I've seen Aparna and I think you held her on.
Thank you.
Harley? Or Trina?
I mean, I think my struggle is always of telling the story of choreography and not creating movement for movement's sake and for always having the intent behind it, because I think just as I love movement, I love moving, it's very easy for me to create movements, and then I'll have to be like, well, what did that mean? So that's something that I'm always, doing. I'm creating all this work, and then like, this is not working, and this is not telling the story. So that's always my struggle, always.
Any other questions?
So based on Carlos' comments, I'm interested in knowing your creative processes. Does movement come before music? This idea come before movement? What is your relationship to your creative process?
Are you asking me for everyone? Yeah. So for this piece, and generally I create movement first, and then I hear the music, and many times, when I hear the music, I'm inspired by the music, and things just change so quickly, and I let that happen. And I'm so lucky, so fortunate to have her. She's like my muse. She's so amazing. So whenever I hear her, I have all this choreography, and then, certain things just get chucked out, and then other things just come about, and it's nice.
Yeah, even between the deck we saw and the run we saw, things changed so much with the musicians on stage.
Yeah.
I think we'll start to wrap up over here. Thank you so much. It was such a fabulous show. So this was wonderful. Outdoor performance tomorrow night, 7 to 9 p.m., Richard Wagner Park, hosted by the Battery Dance Festival. So hopefully some of you can join us there.